Sarah's living room was my sanctuary. I'd known her for 15 years, since we both attended the same prestigious boarding school. I'd gotten in on a full scholarship for my academics, a girl from a working-class family, thrust into a world of old money and private jets. She was my roommate, my unexpected friend. We'd bonded over midnight talks and her surprisingly grounded sense of humor, a shared escape from the pressures of our respective worlds. Now, she was my best friend, the one person who always knew how to make me laugh, even when I felt like crying. And tonight, I was definitely in cry mode. My name is Lizzie, and this is my love story. He dumped me over text. A text, I wailed, clutching a throw pillow as if it were my ex-boyfriend's neck. After 6 months of me cooking his meals and doing his laundry. Sarah, ever the pragmatist, patted my shoulder. He was always a jerk, Lizzie, a 40-year-old man-child who didn't deserve you. You deserve better. Besides, she added with a mischievous grin, a familiar glint in her eye, someone even better just got back from abroad. I rolled my eyes. Please don't tell me you're going to try and set me up with your brother again. I'm 40, Sarah. How old is he now? 25? 25 and a half, she corrected, her grin widening. And Mark has the maturity of a man twice his age, Lizzie. You know that. Besides, he's single now. He and Chloe broke up while he was in London. Mark, Sarah's younger brother, had always been a peripheral figure in my life. Just Sarah's brother. A sweet, goofy kid who'd hung around our study sessions, asking for help with his math homework. We'd tease him about his awkward teenage phases, all the while knowing he was just a kid. Then he'd blossomed into a lanky, handsome teenager, off limits and utterly irrelevant to my life. After that, he went abroad for work, a mysterious job that took him to London and Tokyo and made him even more out of reach. Sarah had never talked much about their family wealth, but you didn't work in places like that for a regular job. Now, he was apparently single. Sarah had tried to subtly push us together before, but the age gap had always felt too vast, too weird. I saw him as just another acquaintance, even if it was a close one with the shared best friend. A few days later, I found myself face to face with the new Mark at Sarah's annual barbecue, an extravagant affair held at their family's sprawling estate. The mansion was a marvel of modern architecture, all glass and steel, with a pool that seemed to stretch into the horizon. I felt ridiculously out of place in my sundress and practical sandals. And then I saw him. Mark was taller, broader, his shoulders set with a quiet confidence I hadn't noticed before. He was wearing a simple linen shirt and dark trousers, but he moved with the effortless grace of someone who was completely at home in his own skin and in this opulent world. His hair was shorter, his jawline sharper. He looked good, really good. "Lizzie, hey!" he said, his smile warm and familiar, but his voice was a deep rumble that was entirely new. "It's been a while." "Mark," I replied, trying not to stare, trying not to let my mind reel at the sheer manliness of him. "Welcome back." We made small talk, catching up on his time in London. He spoke with a surprising maturity, describing his work in renewable energy with a passion that was genuinely captivating. He wasn't the goofy kid I remembered. He was a man who was poised to inherit a multinational corporation and a fortune beyond my wildest imagination. The weight of his world was something I could only guess at, but it was clear that he carried it with ease and grace. The age gap suddenly felt like the least of my concerns. The chasm between our two worlds was far wider. Over the next few weeks, I started seeing Mark more often. Not because Sarah was pushing us together, but because, well, I wanted to. He'd call, inviting me for coffee at a chic cafe or to join him and Sarah for a movie night at his penthouse apartment, a space that made Sarah's sprawling family mansion feel almost cozy. We talked about everything: books, movies, politics, our dreams, and our fears. He listened intently, his eyes holding my gaze, making me feel seen, heard, and understood. He never once made me feel old or out of place. He was genuinely interested in my opinions and my experiences, things that most men my own age often glossed over. He seemed to value my wisdom and my perspective on life, not just my looks. I realized that my initial perception of him as just Sarah's brother was completely wrong. He was intelligent, witty, compassionate, and surprisingly insightful. He challenged my perspectives, made me laugh, and made my heart flutter in a way it hadn't fluttered in years. Just as I started to let my guard down, a twist of fate, dripping with malice, decided to intervene. One afternoon, Mark and I were at Sarah's, helping her with a charity gala she was organizing. We were having lunch when the door opened and a woman glided in. She was Mark's age, stunningly beautiful, with an air of sophisticated confidence that screamed, "Old money." Her name, as Sarah later told me with a groan, was Chloe. "Mark, darling," she exclaimed, rushing to him and giving him a kiss on the cheek. "I heard you were back. I was in town and just couldn't resist coming by to say hello." Her eyes then landed on me, and her smile faltered just slightly. She gave me a polite, but completely dismissive nod. That evening, Mark explained that Chloe was the daughter of a rival CEO and his ex-girlfriend. They had broken up before he left for London, but it was clear from her manner that she still saw him as hers. Over the next few weeks, Chloe seemed to be everywhere. She'd show up at the cafes Mark and I frequented, inviting him to exclusive galas and high-profile events. She'd make passive-aggressive comments about our age difference or my lack of business acumen. One afternoon, she cornered me in the restroom at a fundraiser. "You know Lizzie?" she said, her voice a low purr. "Mark is a wonderful guy, but he has a very specific life. He needs someone who understands his world, someone who knows what it's like to have a family legacy to protect. He needs someone his own age." Her words were a poison arrow, hitting all my deepest insecurities. I wanted to deny my feelings for Mark, to dismiss them as a silly infatuation. But I couldn't. He was kind, considerate, and funny, with a depth I hadn't expected. He made me feel alive, vibrant, and desirable. One afternoon, we were at Sarah's, helping her rearrange her living room. I was struggling to move a heavy bookcase, and Mark stepped in to help. Our hands brushed, sending a jolt of electricity through me. He looked at me, his eyes filled with something I hadn't seen before, a mixture of admiration, affection, and desire. "Lizzie," he said softly, his voice barely a whisper. What she said, none of that matters. A wave of panic washed over me. What was I doing? I was 40, he was 25. This was insane. Chloe's words echoed in my mind, a toxic refrain. "Mark," I said, pulling away. This is a bad idea. We're from different worlds. You have a legacy to protect." "I'm just me." He looked hurt, but he didn't push. "I know," he said quietly. I wanted you to know how I feel." I left Sarah's that evening, a mess of conflicting emotions. Over the next few days, I replayed that scene in my head 100 times. Then, one evening, Mark showed up at my doorstep. "Can we talk?" he asked, his eyes pleading. I hesitated, then nodded. We went for a walk in the park, the cool night air crisp and clean. "Lizzie," he said, stopping by a bench. "I know I'm younger, and I know it might seem crazy, but I can't stop thinking about you. I don't care about the age gap. I don't care about Chloe, or what my family wants, or what anyone thinks about our social standing. I enjoy our conversations, our time together, and I genuinely enjoy being in your presence. The only thing that matters to me is how you feel about me. And I care about you, Lizzie. A lot. And I want to see where this could go if you are willing. If not, I understand, but it would kill me to let something between us never even had a chance, at least." His sincerity disarmed me. I care about you too, Mark," I admitted, my voice trembling. "But I'm scared. The age gap. What will people think? What will Sarah think? What about Chloe?" He squeezed my hand. "Sarah wants us to be happy. She knows who I am, and she knows how you make me feel. As for what other people think, that's their problem, not ours. If we like one another, that is all that matters, and Chloe doesn't matter. She's part of a life I'm trying to move on from. You're the one I want to be with. You're the one I'm choosing." "Let's take it slow," I suggested. "Let's just see where things go." He smiled, a slow, radiant smile that lit up his face. "Okay," he said, his eyes sparkling. "Slow it is." Our first official date was a disaster movie marathon at my apartment, complete with popcorn and blankets. It was comfortable, easy, and completely us. Over the next few months, we continued to explore our relationship, taking things one step at a time. We went on dates, met each other's friends, and even survived a mildly awkward dinner with Sarah, who, after a few raised eyebrows and pointed questions about Chloe's continued meddling, gave us her blessing. It wasn't always easy. There were moments of self-doubt, Moments when I questioned whether this was real, whether it could last. But with each passing day, my feelings for Mark grew stronger. He was my best friend, my confidant, my lover. He made me feel young, vibrant, and loved. He made me feel like anything was possible. One evening, as we were lying in bed, tangled in each other's arms, Mark looked at me, his eyes filled with a love I never thought I'd find. "I love you, Lizzie," he said softly. I smiled, tears welling up in my eyes. "I love you too, Mark," I whispered. And in that moment, I knew. It didn't matter that I was 40 and he was 25. It didn't matter what other people thought, or what Chloe said, or what his billions represented. All that mattered was the love we shared, a love that had blossomed from a shared best friend into something beautiful, something real, something that was entirely our own. We had gone from being just acquaintances to a genuine couple, and now had the best lives ahead of us.